Yay, we are recording to the cloud. Hello, I am Andrea Goeglein, and this is the final installment of the 2025 Ageless Edge Unicorn Challenge. And of course, this was about big goals this year and very different than the 60-day unicorn challenge that I've had up for several years. And all of these, of course, are free on my website for you. And the videos are all on YouTube. So it's all going to be here. But I will tell you, as I begin, that this is the last of the unicorn series. Like all good work, you have to let yourself do it and then have a completion. So you're joining me today in my completion. And to put the bow on all of these challenges that have to do with you holding yourself accountable and you achieving the next level of goals in every or any aspect of your life that you want, I have with me the concluding and the thing that I added to my life again this year, my mastermind group. So I'm going to let my team members in my mastermind group introduce themselves and, most importantly, their businesses. And we will talk at the end about their businesses and how you can get in touch with them. So who would like to go first, ladies?
I could go first if you'd like.
Please.
I did write it down because I wanted to make sure I hit all the points that were really important to me. And sometimes
let's start with your name. Yep.
Okay.
Start with your name.
Okay. So my name is Ellyn Hernandez. I own two businesses, Casa Valentina Candles, an organic home and beauty product line, as well as a spa, Her Skin Therapy, located in Tivoli Village. And for me, mastermind groups are incredibly valuable because they serve a powerful support system where you can help each other navigate challenges and blind spots, and of course, stay accountable. Each member brings a unique wisdom and knowledge and life experiences, as well as entrepreneurial skills that I might not have and I'm looking for. So I think that's very important. I believe it's essential to stay open to receiving that insight as well. So you want to make sure that you align spiritually and emotionally, and you're, with the people that you're with, because you don't want to be navigated in the wrong direction in life. So that's very important.
Alignment, the word that I would use with that. And hi there, Will. The word that I would use is alignment.
Yes.
And that's one of the contrasting things that I'll make some notes also about how and why I chose this for myself at this point and how it was different than other points. So yes. That's great. Yes, the spiritual alignment.
Yes, I feel like these groups foster a sense of community and shared growth, which helps build resilience in me when times get tough. And it helps me move through life, through difficult chapters, and confidence with something positive, knowing that something positive could emerge from any experience when there's so many people in different aspects in life in the group. I think it really helps. And I feel like mastermind groups are the cornerstone for collective and personal transformation.
Great. Great. I love it. And have you been in another mastermind group prior to this?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in different areas of life.
Great.
So for entrepreneurial, for like mental health, for physical health as well. So I've been in plenty of groups. Yeah.
Great. And thank you for making that delineation.
Thank you.
Karen, would you like to go next?
If you could have Will go next, that would be great, because then I will be where I need to be.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it looks like Will is driving there also.
I am. What up?
You are. So Will, let me do the setup for you. Introduce yourself with your name, your business, and why. Answer the question, why a mastermind group?
Okay. My name is William Jenkins, and my business is William No Star LLC. I've always found that having counsel, especially from people that have their head on their shoulders and have a good spiritual direction can help to guide and shape synergistically the decisions that I make, and how to get better perspective on moving forward, and that accountability that comes with having a structured mastermind group is something that's really invaluable.
Super. And have you belonged to mastermind groups before?
I've always had a small group of successful people around me just because of mindset reasons when it comes down to actual conversations or actions on moving forward, whether it be discussions on philosophy, spiritual matters, practical economic matters. The accountability and action synergy is something that I've been keeping around me probably for, I don't know, 10 years.
Great. Great.
In one form or another.
Super.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Karen, have you made it to your location yet?
I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to get on camera, but I can talk anyway. I'm driving very carefully. Andrea, I want to say thank you so much for inviting myself and our special mastermind group to your unicorn challenge. What a special way to finish this off. Very, very cool.
It is.
So my name is Karen Molesky, and I have been in the personal professional development world for 30 plus years. And the reason I am is because I, first of all, want to be able to help myself. And when I can help myself, I know I'm in a better position to help other people. And I love to help people. And so part of that and what I do now is I support a worldwide team of teachers and leaders doing their best to be the best version of themselves so that they can touch more lives. And so I support that group, and I've done coaching on behalf of that group. And the reason I love masterminds, I've been in masterminds for, gosh, at least 20, 25 years now, is because just like our group, it's this collective intelligence. I mean, left to my own device, I mean, I'm not the most intelligent person in the room, and I know that. I'm very clear on that. But when I can pull from other people's brain power, all of a sudden ideas start to flourish. And it's just such a wonderful way to be able to learn from others and also support other people. I love it.
Thank you. You know, and it is perfect that I will speak after you, because as much as you love mastermind groups, I am doing this today. You know, I am the original teach what you need to learn girl. And I never took to mastermind groups. I ran them, but every time I tried to participate in them, I never felt satisfied. And it was really a challenge for me because I do love the input and the stimulation and the learning that I get from listening to the diverse backgrounds and the different problems that we face having different businesses. Yet, for me, it was the most painful thing imaginable, because I never felt as though people worked hard enough or were accountable enough, or, you know, I will tell you what I said to someone at lunch today, one of the distinct reasons, and I'll use the term vibration and energetic alignment and spiritual alignment, all of which were not part of how I discerned groups earlier in my career and in my life. What I said was different about this group. One, the diversity of age and experience is the most diverse of any that I've come together with. Two, when we all suffer great tragedies and wins in our day-to-day lives, and so from week to week when we meet, it is not as though we live these very perfect little lives, no matter what life we're living, as we attempt to achieve our next level of goals in whatever area of our life we're doing that. But when we come to the group, I do not feel that any of you expect me to bring you up. I feel that each of you knows that you may be having a tremendous challenge at that moment, but it is your responsibility to listen, take the information you need, and then to work to lift yourself up. Is that a fair? Am I the only person that feels that way in this group?
100%, Andrea. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's one of the special things about this group. I think we all come to this group with a really great attitude and knowing that we are responsible for our own happiness.
Yeah.
But to your point also, or and I should say, not but, and we could pull ideas and still be real and
Yep.
tell each other what's going on for us, good days, bad days, challenges, wins, whatever that is, and really help support each other through that, which is just beautiful.
Yes. Thank you. And Will
Yeah,
or Elon, what do you think?
I definitely think that our group has showed a high level of emotional maturity and responsibility in basically navigating personal life, while still showing up and um, bringing to the table that support for people who are still fighting to achieve their goal while they're still navigating all these different outcomes that happen in life. So I think everybody's done a really great job of that and seeing things very clearly, including for yourself. And just showing up is half the battle, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Elon, would you like to add anything to that before I butcher your name again?
No, Ellyn, no
Ellyn.
worries. I feel the same way. Likewise, I feel the same exact way. Yeah, it's been a great asset to have, and I'm grateful for it.
Right. And I want to reiterate three of the things that you brought up at the very beginning: the collective wisdom, the accountability, the encouragement and support. I just want to focus very, very strongly on the vibrational and spiritual alignment. And that to me was the variable that I wasn't willing to give up this time around. Earlier in my life and career, I will be the first to tell you that the mastermind that I facilitated, I mean, going back to 98, you had to have a minimum $5 million revenue business to even be considered for the group. And that would be the equivalent of 10 million in sales today. So we had a criteria and about getting in. And then of course you couldn't be in the same industry. What I observed, one as a facilitator of that, was that people were coming into the group because of who else was in the group. And that having that financial criteria actually left a lot on the table as far as what the group could have continued to learn. And it took a long time for me personally to focus on wanting to be with people first and foremost who vibrationally strive to hold themselves accountable and continually strive to overcome hardships and get up again and get up again and get up again. That quality seemed to matter more to me than how much money someone had in the bank or how successful their business was. Does anyone want to push back or add to that?
I'll quickly add to it, Andrea, because then I need to run into this appointment, so I've got to go.
Okay.
I love the fact that we're not focused on that. That we are just focused on how can we support one another,
Right.
and how can we bring ideas to help people stay accountable to themselves into the group and just do next steps. We've kept it I think very simple in such a brilliant way.
Great.
And I love that group.
Super. Thank you, Karen, and go off and have a great meeting. As you can tell, this group actually knows how to come together, help each other, even though they've got 10,000 other things that they're doing. Before we close out in general, I would love if any of the other two of you would like to share why you were attracted to the group. Like, in addition to being asked, what else struck you?
For me, it was energetically aligned. My friend Connor is the one who asked me
I
to be
know,
in
and
the
he's
group.
not here today.
Yeah. I felt I've known Connor for a while now, and we speak about the same stuff like quantum physics and manifestation and rewiring our subconscious mind. So I just felt like I was aligned here, and other people have done the work as well. So it was easy to recognize each other and to give and hold space for one another. At the same time, receive what I needed to receive at the moment. So I honestly feel like it was divine timing, and I was guided there for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Will, do you have anything to contribute to that?
For sure. When it comes down to why I was attracted to the group, of course, Connor invited me, but it was just due to we met twice before we actually fully exchanged information. The positive nature. I'm very attracted to positive energy and positive people, and being able to see that he was studying philosophers, and I also study ways of life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know that each of us have the unique gifts that can help to guide each other to a new way of seeing life and being. So
Okay.
that's for sure. I'm always interested in joining people who are trying to build something. I consider myself a builder and a creator.
Great.
And so I look forward to always meeting other builders and creators, meeting you and Ellyn and Karen. That's been awesome. It really has. I've been very thankful.
Super. Well, and you've heard, and this is for the audience, you've heard the name Connor twice, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I bet Connor is off traveling. He is a game developer and also teaches game development at a private school here in Las Vegas. And of course, he's on summer break. So he's taking advantage and going off and refilling his mind and his soul and his spirit by visiting some pretty incredible parts of the Western United States. But I will close by telling you how Karen and Connor and I first got together. I had met Karen at a very separate event, and it was a casual meeting, but we knew we were aligned on a lot of things, and it was a casual conversation. A week went by, and I was at one of my teacher's workshops, Dr. Patrick Scott, and who's sitting next to me but Karen. Another week goes by, and I'm in a Starbucks, and there's a young man working diligently on a computer, and his computer had this incredible, the front of his computer looked like it was lighting up, and it was, oh, Connor is getting on, and it was lighting up. We're just about done, and I'm telling the story about how the initial mastermind came together. So, Connor, tell me, on the front of your screen, the day that I met you, what was that graphic that was lighting up? You had like your what was that
my
attracted
laptop?
you?
Yeah, the backside of my laptop, where most people would put stickers and stuff, is I can put any video that I want on it. And I've been cycling between different members of the Beatles, but I think when you met me, it was a stapler named
It was a
Chauncey.
stapler.
Yeah.
And so I see this young man sitting working on his computer with this lit up, cover that I didn't know. And he and I start chatting, and it was very quickly a high energy conversation that led to all sorts of topics. And then there was this little voice over my shoulder that said, Andrea? And I turn around, and it was Karen. And Karen and Connor had had several conversations already. So energetically, when I talked at the beginning of, in addition to the traditional reasons that you come together and use a mastermind to help solidify your process of holding yourself accountable for goals, it is also very critical that you see about the energetic alignment of the people that you're working with. So, Connor, we had kind of wrapped up and Karen had actually gotten it off. I would love you to close with why Mastermind matters to you. Since you were the reason that each one of us in our own way came together.
Well, there's a saying that goes that you rise and fall to the people that you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And I've observed this in others, I've observed this in me. Sometimes you're around people that maybe isn't so much your choice, family, that kind of stuff, people at work. And then you have those that you do choose to surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be very careful about knowing what influences come into you. And the fact is not everybody in this life, it's probably a minority, choose to consciously be at a high level, to think at a high level, to grow, to make priorities. So I wanted to be in rooms with people who were already doing that, or were at levels of success higher than myself, or were clearly on their way there, so that we could share what was working, also observe what wasn't working, and to let that amalgamate and raise the temperature of my own being to whatever those high level people are. So it's really about, like you said, energy and surrounding yourself with people. Well, you will kind of be alchemized by them.
Right. Thank you. And since I know we have a few more minutes before you have to leave, one other question. Since we've been together, one win that you feel, something you feel you're doing different than you were prior to coming together?
That's a great question. Do you want me to start, or do you want?
Yeah, why don't you start?
Oh man. I think there are several wins. Some of them are micro, some of them are more macro. There's something funny in the giving of advice that actually helps yourself. We're so easy to spot what someone else is kind of off track, and then healing
Yep.
them, we're really healing us. So I'd say just a lot of it has to be just going in there as a contributor, that has this effect. But I know, I'll give you my biggest win. So I definitely learned this from our group, our mastermind, and then also from this CEO client I've talked about that I'm working with.
Right.
Which is, it's okay for my process to not be a linear straight line, but to kind of go all over the place, exploring and coming back and exploring and canceling an old certainty and coming with a new one. And that has been true of my own process for a long time, but I always attributed that to my own ADD, not being settled enough, not having a method, amateur kind of whims. And then I see people far more successful than I, and older than I, and wise enough to not only observe that in myself and not criticize it, but go like, okay, yeah, follow that instinct. And then to see it demonstrated in them. I've watched you change your mind. I've watched Dave, the CEO, change his mind on things that seemed like there was a lot of energy and intent behind, because a new stone was unturned. And it's, of course, the attitude of the successful to be adaptive. It's like like with the species and everything, you have to adapt to change
Mm-hmm.
circumstances and look and change and mold. And I didn't have that security within. So that security now exists. I don't doubt myself because this week I have a new way of that I'm going down than the week prior. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, no, you got to stick to the plan, man. You know, and I have released that insecurity as a result of being around you and the people in this mastermind.
Oh, thank you. Because, well, you weren't on the front end when I said that this is actually, this call and this video is actually me closing out 2 years of work of the Unicorn Challenges. And it's only right that it ends with the concept of forming a mastermind and how do you attract them and why are they valuable. And I'm going to close by reading a passage that literally matches what you just said. But first, Will, do you want to contribute anything to what your win has been?
Yeah, I definitely do. For me, having not only the opportunity to join others who, like Connor said, are already wise, successful, and on their way, to not only have that seen in me, but in a way, the universe validated me just for showing up, as I did earlier when I was in the car still driving. But in showing up and in manifesting very specifically based on what I'm learning from you guys, I've been able to have that motive energy into every step kind of move me faster than I would have necessarily moved myself, because sometimes I'm a little bit too careful. So I'm very, very thankful to just have met all of your energies and learned from everybody. It's been a real blessing.
Beautiful. Thank you. And what about our last contribution? Are you still there? No, maybe she's not, because she did have an appointment to go to. So let me tell you, I'll tell you what, just I've had many from the standpoint of watching how wanting to develop the next part of my work. I'm really in a place where I am at 69 years old, soon to be 70, crafting how will I use my skill as a person who helps people with their thinking problems as I go on in the next few years, taking into effect the changes and how much AI can help in what I do. And I remembered in the first few weeks, the first win that I was observing in myself was that I kept using the Weight Watcher analogy. And Will, I'm not sure if you heard me say this, that as a kid, when I was on Weight Watchers, no matter how you did in the week before in your eating plan, the one thing you always knew is 2 days before you had to have a weigh-in, get on the scale in front of a room of people, you were going to be as good as you could be eating wise on those, few days. And I felt that that was the same thing, that at a very elementary level, even though I am holding myself accountable to my own goals, and none of you necessarily benefit with what I'm doing in my goals for myself, what was happening was that we were coming together. The fact we were going to be speaking and reviewing for ourselves in front of everyone where we stood, the ups and downs, it caused me to keep them at the forefront of my mind more consistently. And frequency is such a critical thing. Like how often you hold yourself accountable, how frequently you seek out help. The frequency became one of the great things. And yet, even though it wasn't the reason why I came together, listening to each of you with your different, whether it's game design or physical fitness and everything to do with the body and the mind and how, will your work, and then small businesses and how to grow them into multiple streams of income, all of those, what I realized was that I was doing things like you would talk about, Will, that you had a client take pictures of their food. Well, I started doing that on a daily basis. And then the next morning, just going through the pictures just to remind myself, am I doing what I want to do for my health? Like just answering that question. And then I eliminate the pictures. So picking up little pieces along the way from each one of our experiences has been a real gift of the group. And I want to close by, so there is this book called by Joan Anderson called Walk on the Beach. And it's the serendipitous. And that's why I chose this in this section. This author, Joan Anderson, was walking on a beach, it's a true story, and met a woman named Joan Erickson. Just so happened that Joan Erickson was the wife and muse of the very famous child psychologist Erik Erikson, who developed all of the psychological processes of how children develop. And the women are having a conversation when Joan Anderson, the author, realizes, holy crap, this woman is married to him. That's like incredible. And Joan Anderson asked Joan Erickson, how did Erik Erikson become Erik Erikson? And I'll just read this. He was a very restless painter of children's portraits who had been lured to Vienna to become a babysitter and teacher in a progressive school run by Anna Freud, Sigmund Freud's daughter. Eventually, he was able to study with her father, Sigmund, and that's how he became a psychoanalyst. Imagine that, she said, giggling at the coincidence. He was just feeling his way like the rest of us. But tell me, dear, what attracted you to his ideas? So she got right away that her husband was this person that was a painter of children's portraits. He was a babysitter, and he ends up impacting and meeting someone who then has a father who happens to be Sigmund Freud, and he goes on to impact an entire branch of psychology. The ending was this. Wasn't he one of the mental health specialists who encouraged his parents to work with their strengths? So the author is saying, like, wasn't he the first person to ever have parents stop saying, what's wrong with you? And instead, let's start with where the child has strengths and build from there. So that's how I want to end this. This has been a long process. Setting goals, holding yourself accountable. Connor, to your point, there are no straight lines. And if you're on a straight path, you're going to be bored, silly, and probably not go as far. If you do all of the zigs and zags, but keep holding yourself accountable and constantly making yourself try again, try again, try again. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. I know that our lady members had to run off to various appointments, and I thank them all. And I just want to end, you will have everyone's websites in the description below. And reach out, put comments, and always know that you are the only person that can hold yourself accountable and to inspire yourself to reach the next level. I am Andrea Goeglein, and I thank you for joining me here today. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to turn off the recording. Boom.